All right. Hello, everyone. Um, this is one of those moments where, you know, you tried everything and then you figured out where it all went wrong. So, if you watch my most recent video, um, which is, let's see, this right here, AMD Recording and Streaming Guide, you'll notice how I said use AMD software to record your gameplay or whatever, which to some extent I am still going to stand behind that because it does seem to still be the recording software that like impacts your frames the least. However, I figured out why OBS was acting so weird and was pretty much unusable. So I actually made another video. I never uploaded it though. I just kind of recorded it. But in one video, I kind of went into depth how I tried everything to get OBS to work properly. My main issue was my 1% lows were horrendously bad in games. When I say horrendous, I mean like really, really bad. Um, to the point to where it's like benchmarking or anything like that. Obviously, benchmarking while recording is not optimal and it's not um unless you have like a second PC or something, or you're doing the benchmarks while not recording. But if you're trying to record while doing any sort of like, because like for example, if you are recording and you have a card that's overclocked versus non-overclocked, it's like you'll still see the performance improvement from the overclock, even though you're recording. It'll just be that the baseline is going to be lower and the overclock will also be lower, because of the recording. So you're more like shifting the graph, kind of. So yeah, I figured out that of course the issue was, as per usual, Windows breaking everything. Windows having features that don't really work properly and just try to make your life harder. If I'm being totally honest, like it really seems like at this point Windows just releases shit that they don't even test. They don't test it out. They don't test it out with any games. They don't test it out with any software. They don't do any quality control testing. Um so here we're gonna get right into it. I want all y'all to go to start or search and type in well fuck graphics. Click on graphics settings for me, please. Okay? Click on advanced graphics settings. If this is on hardware accelerated GPU scheduling, turn it off. Please. This was the reason. Hardware accelerated GPU scheduling. This was the whole reason for all my issues, all my problems, my low frame time, my bad frame times, my horrendous 1% lows. That was the problem. Freaking ridiculous. Freaking ridiculous. I could not believe I tried everything and it turns out to be a damn Windows feature. Of course, like yeah. If you're on AMD or if you're on XTX or an XT especially, because this doesn't seem to be an issue with NVIDIA cards, but if you're on an AMD card, turn that bullshit off. I didn't notice any worse frame rates in games with it off. It's like a feature that doesn't do anything. You might get slightly better 1% lows, but it's like, and especially, oh my god, especially turn it off if you have any sort of system instability. Any sort of instability, automatically turn hardware accelerated GPU scheduling. Turn it off. It's not worth it. Even if it gets you 1% better, 1% lows, I don't care. It's not worth it. It is not worth the potential instability. And when you have that on, you're pretty much letting Windows give your GPU and at this point, I don't trust Windows to manage anything. I don't trust Windows to decide what my GPU processes or anything, because this is pretty much allows the GPU to to help utilize system resources, so so that your CPU doesn't have such a high load and this and that. Only issue is it seems like whenever your GPU has a really high load, it tends to break, which is why I suspect my 1% lows were so bad and why my frame rates were going all over the places. Because while recording and playing a game, obviously your GPU usage is going to be very high. So this just seems to break. And matter of fact, it just seemed to be broken anyways, because I was playing the finals. Even without recording OBS, I was noting some weird frame hitches and weird behavior. Turned it off, restarted my PC, all the weird behavior was gone. It was smooth as butter, no instability. Yeah, like it just seems like a feature that breaks shit. And even if you're on Nvidia, if you're seeing like weird system behavior, crashes, anything like that, turn it off. Turn it off. The more that Windows starts interfering with the way that your PC works, just assume it's bad. Assume it's not going to work. At this point, that's how, like, if I see a new feature that's some bullshit, like improve PC, no, turn it off. Turn it off. Stop playing. Stop. No. I spent so much time trying to figure out what was going on with OBS for it to be a Windows problem. After I had made a whole video explaining the best possible ways that the best possible way to my knowledge to use an AMD GPU to record, and it turns out to be a Windows feature that is breaking my damn computer. Can you believe it? Can you believe it? Now I'm gonna leave the video up because it's still a good method. It's not like a bad method. But if you wanted to use OBS and your frame rates are really bad, just use this. Just turn this off. Turn off. Um, People call it HAGs or whatever. Turn off hardware accelerated GPU. Just turn it off. Yeah. And then also turn off variable refresh rate, because it's like if you have FreeSync on, you don't need that. Yeah, most features that Windows implements that's like supposed to improve performance, it just ends up breaking shit, and it's really aggravating, because you'd think with such a big company, how big of a company they are, they'd be able to like make sure that whatever they're releasing works properly. No, they can't do it. They can't do it. Maybe buy an XTX or buy a 9070 XT or buy a 7800 XT or something, and actually test the feature out. Like, I know you make enough money to do it. What are you doing? Like, I'm serious. When it comes to this kind of stuff, where you like put it on everyone's system that use Windows, you'd think that they would do some damn testing with it. And I hate to like sound kind of maybe derogatory, but it's like you would think that such a big company would put some resources into making sure that a feature they are releasing to the mass population works. You'd think they would just make sure it works, but clearly that's too much of a damn. And not to mention the potential instability. It just seems like a net negative all the way around. The little itty bitty bit of performance that you might gain is not worth potential system instability. Like, I don't care what anyone says. I do not care what anyone says. It's just not worth it. It's just not worth. I think everyone should turn this shit off, because you really don't know what this means. You don't know what this is actually doing and how it's affecting your system. You just don't. So I think everyone should turn it off. There's a reason why they have. If it was really that good, okay, if it was really that good of a feature, and was extremely stable, they knew it worked all the time, they wouldn't even have an on-off button. They would just integrate it into Windows as a whole and not even let you turn it on or off. But because they have this on, they know that there's issues with it, and they know that there's they know. So anyways, Just wanted to make a quick video explaining that. After I figured that out, really, really aggravating because I spent days trying to figure out what was going on with OBS just to figure out it was hardware accelerated GPU scheduling, a Windows feature. Yeah. So unfortunate. But anyways, hopefully this was informative. Definitely turn this shit off. Turn it off. But anyways, I will see y'all in the next video. Bye.